Welcome to the show, everybody, and happy Monday. We are here again for another live show, and it's been absolutely fantastic. We've been coming to you for 1 month now, Monday through Friday lives every single day. We try to do it around the same time. Today was an impromptu, a little bit earlier than usual. Tomorrow we'll be coming to you at normal time at 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST. So it's great to be with you guys again, and today is going to be an amazing show because we're going to unpack just exactly why those who are waiting for much, much lower Bitcoin prices or a huge shakeout might be in for a surprise. As you know, on this channel, we give it to you how it is, not how you might want it to be, but we're going to look at this analysis, which actually is very bullish for Bitcoin at the moment, right? So we're continuing with the analysis from last week. We're picking up where we left off on altcoins and what's happening with Bitcoin dominance, as well as Ethereum, and we'll be going over THETA and TFUEL. So if you're joining this later, do watch the whole replay because this one's going to be packed with analysis today. We're going to get right to it with Trip, and we'll do more of a deep dive on news and macro analysis tomorrow. And don't forget, we have CPI data coming in tomorrow, so that'll also be a catalyst probably for some moves in the market. That being said, guys, we are going to jump right into it with Trip on the analysis about Bitcoin that a lot of people on YouTube, on Twitter, on all the different social medias are not talking about right now. And I'm excited for you to hear this because that's what we're here to do, to help you navigate these markets with the best information possible, right, going forward. So you've got the Jedi Master Trip on the charts. I just want to welcome a few of you who've made it to our impromptu live. It's a little bit earlier than usual, but Chris, Hopium Days, what's up? What's up? We're about to jump right into the analysis today. So Trip, I'll let you take it away. Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, we're going to start with the Bitcoin dominance chart as we usually do. The first thing we're going to talk about is this break lower from the bear flag that we've been talking about for the past week. So once we saw this forming over end of July, pretty much, we're waiting for this break lower and a break below the 50-week SMA over here as well, this red line. If you use the 1-week chart for reference, that 50-week MA is also where this long-term trend line has been holding for Bitcoin dominance. So we're looking for that break below the 50 MA first, and then we need to see a break below this trend line as that extra level of confirmation. But again, back on the 4-hour chart, this is only a 4-hour chart, right? So on a weekly chart, it's going to look a lot different. You can't really see a whole lot of detail in this move, and that's why we've zoomed into the 4-hour here. And what we're focused on is looking for either a bearish retest of the bear flag or a bearish retest of the 50 MA. So just over the past 12 hours or so, we've been watching Bitcoin dominance pull back up, and it looks like a local rejection, at least on the 4-hour chart so far for the for Bitcoin dominance. This is a good sign for altcoins as it looks now, but we do need to see that break below the trend line to confirm. But everything looks to be moving the way we expected it so far.
Right. So that's just an update on your altcoins, guys. That altcoin season. Just be patient. Just be patient on that. We're expecting some big moves for altcoins, and nothing out of the norm. It's just those who are patient and are getting positioned now are going to it's going to pay off greatly. So just stay tuned for that, and we will go over that again tomorrow, more analysis in depth. But let's look at Bitcoin now.
Right, so I'm actually going to tell a bit of a story from over the past month and a bit. So this chart actually is from July 3rd. And what we're looking at here is the Bitcoin 3-day chart compared to the Bitcoin 2-week chart on log scale. So they actually have a very similar structure. You have that same parabolic pump to the upside and then a double top that rolled over. And then once it hit this lower trend line, we moved all the way back up to the top of the range again. Same as how we did over here. We had that move to the top. You had a double top roll over. Once you hit the trend line, we moved up into this consolidation phase. And on the 2-week chart, we saw this breakout occur. So we were looking for the 3-day chart to follow in its footsteps. If I go to the next chart is the update. We got that exact same move on the 3-day that we were expecting to follow from the Bitcoin 2-week chart. And then if we go even further ahead, we were expecting this same bounce at that retest after it pulled back, and we're actually going to go look into it more to see why this was something we were focused on very much in our trading group. So this is another chart that was actually zoomed in. This is that zoomed in green circle on the left and the right. That's just a zoomed in version of this chart right here, okay, to see what was going on in this area. So what we were talking about, this was from August 1st. We were expecting that if the patterns do stay the same, we were looking for this pullback, not quite all the way down to the support, but we're going to look for a double bottom and then a move to the upside again. So this was the key basis of the idea for the past week of trading that we've been doing in the trading group. If we go ahead even further, Now I've separated the charts into thirds. So now you can see the 1 week log scale chart, and then you can see that 2 week log scale chart zoomed in with a purple circle highlighting what part of the chart that is. And the red circle over here on the 3-day chart zoomed into the 6-hour. That's the same as this red circle up here. So then on the weekly chart, you can see for reference where these two circles are that I'm talking about on these other two side charts. So like we were talking about back here, on the zoomed in 3-day chart to the 4-hour, we were looking for that double bottom idea. And that's this chart over here that we've zoomed into. So from that idea, we had this first initial bounce and we were looking for a break above this trend line or a rejection at the 0.272 fib level up here. Now we're going to forward again. Now we're going to see that move that happened over the past week or so from Bitcoin. So we had that double bottom. It's played out. It broke above the 272. The 272 is the same crucial level that once it was broken on these two previous comparison charts, then we saw that move to the upper resistance level at the very top of the range. And then we saw a consolidation, then a breakout and a retest, and then a move higher. So then on the 1-day chart, excuse me, the same thing was happening. You had that same double bottom that moved to the upside. You had that consolidation, a breakout and a retest and a move higher. And then on the 6-hour chart, the one that we're looking at, this is a live chart. We're expecting the similar kind of a thing. So you have that double bottom, that move to the top of the range, might see a consolidation next, the breakout, a retest, and a move higher. So this all comes together as like one idea that we started off with, just using this idea to start with. And it's basically just saying that Bitcoin tends to repeat itself on different time frames. So you can see something on a 2-week chart like we have over here. And then if you zoom in, you'll see the same kind of structure develop as the time frames go lower, or sometimes as the time frames go higher. So this was definitely a very interesting idea that we followed so far in the trading group.
Wow. Well, let's just unpack what Trip is giving you guys here. He's giving you a Bitcoin map, pieces of it anyway. Our trading groups gets the whole picture and gets it as it's happening and well before, because we're updating their 24/7 and their members. But like this map is so valuable. I mean, everybody, I have to stress this. So many people that I've seen on crypto, Twitter, X, YouTube, and all those sources are waiting for Bitcoin to go back down to much lower levels. And that doesn't necessarily have to be the case at all. In fact, if history repeats, as the title suggested, and this chart plays out or this fractal plays out again, we don't necessarily have to revisit any of those lower levels right now as it stands, as this pattern continues to play out. So just know that if you are waiting for those lower levels, and I'm talking 112 again, or maybe even back down to 100K, you might be waiting for those bigger numbers perpetually until, you know, a much longer time from now. So what I'm saying is just keep an open mind. We're trying to give you the news and the charts as we see them on this channel, not what everybody is saying. So we're just trying to stick to the analysis that we've already had, and we've had this Bitcoin map, and look how well this is played out. I mean, this is crazy how similar or exact these fractals have been, right? Like there is no reason for us to think right now as it stands that Bitcoin is going to go back down to those lower levels. So I just wanted to point that out to you because it's not necessarily the analysis you're seeing everywhere else. And this is really helpful when you're trying to look at different perspectives, right?
Right, definitely. So when you have like an idea on all these different time frames and you can see self-similar patterns forming, it really does give you quite a much of an edge. I've always seen Bitcoin do this commonly during the bull runs. During the 2021 run up, we saw very similar patterns forming along the way. Every consolidation pattern seemed to rhyme with the previous one or seemed to look similar in some fashion. So there was definitely an amount of predictability to it. Another idea that we came up on too, this is a bump and run pattern. This is where it's a little different than a falling wedge because you get this big dip that sort of, it acts as the bump phase, but it's where a falling wedge, if you were to draw it in, would have broken to the downside. And then this upper trend line still remains active. And then once it comes back up to meet this trend line, you're looking for a break and the uphill run to these new highs. So what we had here, we had actually overlaid that exact picture on the Bitcoin chart, and it's strikingly similar to what was already happening on the chart. So again, you can look at the original, and then you can see what Bitcoin's doing. The colored candles here are what the chart is actually doing. So we were looking for a breakout of this resistance and then a throwback to the trend line after this breakout occurred. So if we zoom ahead, This is the current chart on Bitcoin. This is the bump and run that has played out so far. And if we can kind of read along the bottom here, it's kind of phased out. But the bump and run forms, then rounds upwards as prices leave the bowl and move higher on the uphill run to new highs, right? So these new highs that we're creating is part of the idea that we talked about back here in this picture, right? So the same idea, we had the bump and run come into the picture, and now we're looking for that break higher above resistance, just like it's done in the previous two fractals. This move, my opinion, is still coming, but not without a bit of a consolidation first. But it would fulfill the idea that the bump and run suggests that a new high is coming. So all these ideas put together has been almost too easy for us in the trading group, to be honest, because we had like a literal map of how things should have played out. And it's,
This is crazy.
again,
That's where
quite
you showed it
shocking.
first, right? Like
Right.
you show it first. I mean, you've been showing these movements as they've been happening in the trading group. So the trading group had this map of Bitcoin, and as everybody was calling for lower prices, lower prices. I think the problem with the cycle is that a lot of people have PTSD from last cycle, and they're just really fixated on the idea of a 4-year cycle, and that, you know, around October to November has to be the top. And I understand that because that's how it's been, but that's not how it's necessarily playing out this cycle. And this map, I mean, has been so valuable for Bitcoin trades and also for everything else. Having a look at what's happening with altcoins. I mean, this is all a puzzle that you're putting together in real time. And I've not seen anybody do this like Trip can and a lot of the analysts in our group, right? This is just gold. I just have to point this out. I mean, this is like something that's just, it's just, I don't know. I haven't seen this anywhere else. So you guys, like, I hope you guys appreciate it. I just want to shout out to people who are just jumping in. Mimi's, what's up? Good morning. Unstoppable Bulls. Rob, what's up? Thanks for retweeting. He says, everyone, dad trading season starts in a few weeks. Kids going back to school. Yeah, that would be the sentiment. So people are going to start to catch on to this. They're going to start to jump into the altcoins. We already noticed it with an increase of views in YouTube slightly. I mean, people are coming back, but you guys have been here to get the juice, and you know what's really happening. And a lot of people else are just going by their feelings or by what's happened in previous cycles, or just that sort of like fear of, no, we can't keep going until we get a huge crash. Or I've just, that sentiment is so, I see it repeating over and over and over again. And a lot of times Bitcoin likes to do what nobody expects it to do, except in this group, because we've got a map. We've got a map that Trip has, sort of been drawing out with many different perspectives over time. Theta investor, what's up? We're going to go over Theta today. Neil, what's up? Love the show. Thanks so much for stopping in. Crypto Stacks, finally able to catch another show. Good morning, guys. We're starting the morning off strong. We jumped right into the charts, as this show is going to be shorter than most, but we will do a more in-depth analysis tomorrow at our normal time, guys. So I'm just going to let you know now, so I don't want to miss you tomorrow. 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST, okay? What's up, Al-Munim? How you doing? We're doing good. We are looking at the Bitcoin map that nobody is looking at. Basically, we're giving you the juice right here, the alpha. DJ and Brian, what happens if no rate cut? I mean, that's a really good question. And like, maybe we get some short-term noise, like some short-term volatility, but we don't need those rate cuts to continue. Bitcoin's going to continue. Look at this map. That's just what I want to show you. First of all, this map that Trip has been mapping out, for lack of a better word, that's been playing out despite not having the rate cuts, despite, I mean, the news is, it's more like, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. And I'll repeat this, and I repeat it like almost every show. The internet.com boom happened when rates were like all-time highs, right? So like, if no rate cuts, maybe we continue along the same path. If rate cuts, maybe we get more bullish. Maybe it's already priced in. I mean, but the part that's not priced in is that liquidity that's going to be injected when that happens. So I see it as, over time, it's going to be like pouring gasoline on fire, right? But we don't need it necessarily to continue with this massive bullishness that we've had. So that would be my answer on that. I will be checking in with CPI data tomorrow, so stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll do a more macro analysis on the show. But yeah, so that's what I would say about that. My stock market has it priced in, says Brian. Well, we will see about that tomorrow. Before we go on, I just want to shout out, there is one stock we talked about on the show. I believe it is about like a week or two ago max, BMNR, Bitmine. And that thing has done a 116% pump, a stock. Okay. And we covered that on the show. I think we talked about it in the group since a long time back, but on the YouTube show, I think it's up 50% since when we talked about it 1 to 2 weeks ago. I mean, that is a stock, guys. So that's phenomenal. Okay. So just, if you're just tuning into the show, you're able to be successful in itself. But in our group, obviously we get them when it's bottoming, or we try to get the best entries possible, right? So we can't always update everybody in real time on YouTube. But yeah, so I just wanted to shout that out, man. I mean, we've been crushing it in the group. Also, Megan, I'll do that shout out tomorrow when she's here. But Unstoppable says stock market and BTC likely go up most when the rates stay the same. No, could be. Is RSR any good? So maybe we'll have time to go over requests at the end, guys. I did cut Trip off his mapping strategy, but I just had to go on a tangent about how amazing these Bitcoin maps have been and how accurate they've been. It's been wild. So we wanted to make sure that we shared that with you on the YouTube as well. And this is the Bitmine chart, right?
Yeah, this is the BMNR chart. So we were looking for this retest of the 1 week 200 MA, this yellow line going across the screen. And again, this is potentially it's a gigantic double bottom that has a lot of room to grow. I mean, these numbers up here are just ridiculous from where you're buying it down here, it seems. But we've seen crazier things. Like, I don't doubt anything as far as potential in the markets anymore, because it's really good at surprising you. So after we got this bullish retest down here, we're going to zoom into the 1 hour chart just to see what kind of move we had. And you can see it wasn't a perfect retest, right? It didn't really come down all the way to that 200 MA. But if you knew what you were doing and you knew how to read a chart, you would have probably picked up on this bullish divergence on the 1 hour chart. So you had a lower low on the price action, and the RSI was oversold with bullish divergence down here. So this is actually where I started picking up my entry. I think I entered around 33 or so. So yeah, I'm already up pretty much 100% just on this position myself. But yeah, this is a fantastic entry that we were able to catch in the trading group.
Right. And even if you didn't know what you were doing as far as charting, you have a master like Trip who can help you with this and who posts this in the group to let you know that that's what's happening. So you don't have to guess in the group, because that's what they're doing, is they're finding, good setups, which is an art in itself, that have a lot of the indicators they look for as to when something is about ready to pop or when it looks like a good setup. And then, you can take that from there and add it to your strategies, right? But like, this was one that we got that if you had acted on, you'd be up quite a bit on. And I do want to shout her out. I don't see her in the chat today, but we have a single mom who just joined the group who is crushing it. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But she's just like already making wins on her trades. And she just joined about like a month ago, max, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Guys, now is the time. The link is in the description below. 10% off for the crypto making community. And I just say this every time, but time is ticking, right? Like, Bitcoin is marching up to new all-time highs, and people think that we're going to get these massive corrections that we may not very well not get, right? So now is the time to get positioned, to strategize, and to join the group, plain and simple. And always, as always, tune into the show and chat with us, because we love to connect with you. So Trip, sorry about that. We want to go back to that Bitcoin map. I don't know if you're finished with that or not, but it's phenomenal. For those of you who are just joining, I see Dan, a little late. It's okay, Dan. You joined just the right time, because it's about to recap what we just talked about, but do watch the replay, because this is an important one. Bear says, how do I join the group? Bear, there is a link in the description. It's a Telegram group. And we post chart setups, news that moves the markets or that you need to be aware of, as well as leverage trading. We have some of our leverage traders in the chat right now as well. So we do a lot of great setups that are ready. So that link is in the description. It's a Telegram group. You can sign up month to month, and you can also sign up for spot and leverage. And we're crushing it, man. We are crushing it, and we are coming to you every single day. So if you have any questions, all of our admins are there to help you through it. And it's going to be a phenomenal trading season, guys. That's all I have to say about that. So Dan, and all of you who just joined, and Bear as well, this is the Bitcoin map that Trip has been plotting out in real time in the group. And I've never seen something play out so eerily similar. It's crazy. And so while everybody else was calling for like a big dump on Bitcoin all the way down to possibly 100K and this and that, we were looking at this Bitcoin map and this bump and run pattern, and look how it played out. I mean, this is noteworthy for sure. So I just wanted to reemphasize this, because if you had been following it, you would have been able to do much better decisions on your trades, right?
Right. And yeah, it's baffling to me, actually. This is a picture out of a textbook, this picture here. So this has been floating around the internet for I don't know how long. Yeah, it's literally textbook. So when I overlaid it over the chart, it was kind of amazing to see how well it fit in. But then to see it run up at almost the same rate was just astonishing, really. It still kind of blows my mind when things like this happen. But yeah, almost a textbook play on this bullish bump and run so far.
Right. No, phenomenal, phenomenal. So yeah, we're going to be keeping this updated in the group. We will come to you tomorrow, but like I said, things happen in between. We can only come to you once per day, so we're happy to share what we can. But this is what we're looking at right now, sort of consolidation period. But yeah, with the thought that we could lead into new all-time highs from here.
Right. So just back to the BMNR chart. This chart is a treasury for Ethereum. So it's going to be largely based on the performance of what Ethereum is doing. So Ethereum on the 1-day chart, we were looking for this breakout above this resistance zone, and then it became a retest entry as we posted in the group. So if you're able to get in on this pullback, then you're already in profit from this retest. But the way it looks right now, this is a major resistance that's already broken. I don't see why ETH can't run up to the measured move up here around $6,800. It's hard to really guess how much time that could take, but I think there's a chance it does within a month or two. It might move very quickly. If this trajectory just keeps getting quicker and quicker and more parabolic, then yeah, that target could be hit sooner than later, in my opinion.
Right. And again, we've got a lot of people, and rightfully so. I mean, we've had a lot of bigger corrections before in the crypto world. And so there is a lot of PTSD stuff happening. I think that people are just always worried about those lower prices coming in. But where we're at in the cycle, I mean, I see a lot of people saying that ETH is going to have that bigger retracement. But now that we've broken out, we don't necessarily have to see that failure or any of the revisiting of the lower prices for ETH. But a lot of people think that it needs to do so in order to run up from here. So that's not necessarily what's in play, and that's what we want to bring on this channel. I see somebody said here, Raw Food Writer, ETH looks like it's trying to break out. ETH has broken out. It's currently retesting. So what would you have to say about that, Trip?
Well, I'm just going to show a snippet of a picture that we've been watching.
You're going to do it?
Just a little snippet. So I'm going to show where it started from. Let me find one earlier on.
So we're going to show you something that we've been mapping out in group as well that we haven't shared on the YouTube channel yet, but it's an ETH map. Okay, it's similar to the Bitcoin fractals. So just to see potentially what ETH could be doing from here. And I'm telling you, a lot of people are saying it's a fake out. ETH is going to go much lower, all this stuff, but that's not necessarily what we're looking at in the group. So we are going to show you just exactly.
Looking for an empty space. Yeah. Okay, so this was from in the group from about July 6th. So it doesn't look like much there, but I've basically been creating like a flip book for Ethereum in the group. So I've been updating this image consistently as time has been going on. So that was one of the previous dips where we were looking at how well it's been closely following this idea. And here's another one. And I'm going to keep going to the progression here as they go. And then we'll go to the next one here. I just got to copy and paste them from the group. And this was the next progression in the image. Okay, so it's clearly been following this idea, right? We've been nailing it like quite specifically to a T in this bars pattern idea. So there's an extended view to this chart that I can't show here quite yet. There's a much bigger picture of the whole structure. But really what I'm trying to show you is that we were able to basically use this idea over TA potentially to give us an idea of where Ethereum was about to go. So as it's been going and going and going, we got to this point right here where it was right at the breakout. And that was actually the same part on the chart down here that we were looking at for this breakout. Okay. So again, I'm just going to update this one more time, go back and grab another picture. And I'll try to get the most updated one right here. Okay, so again, this picture has become more reliable than TA in my opinion. So I actually opened positions on BMNR and Ethereum during this dip by anticipating it before the breakout, because it's just, there's something about this bars pattern. And again, we'll show you the whole picture at another time, but it's been leading the way and it's been our guide in a very spectacular way. So it's been profitable to trade a bars pattern as opposed to just trading the technicals on the chart.
Right. So this pattern is insane, guys. It's just been following this to a T as well. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, there's a lot of noise out there about like how Ethereum has to come way back down and revisit lower prices because it can't shoot up from here. And that's not necessarily what we're looking at. And we're giving you a taste of that on this channel. Okay. We don't necessarily have to do that. I mean, ETH could continue to go up from here. And if this chart is any indicator that Trip has here, this bars pattern, we could be seeing higher prices for ETH sooner rather than later.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just trying to line it up as best as I can here, just to show you that this is pretty much where what we've seen since this breakout move. But you can tell that it's already told you beforehand that this move was already coming. So now, as I was saying, I don't expect ETH to stop necessarily. I could probably do a pretty decent move just over the next month or two if it keeps going in this trajectory. So we'll be updating you guys on this idea too as time goes on.
There you go. Screenshot it, guys, because you saw it here. This is a potential map for ETH going forward. And these are important perspectives to have as you do see a lot of noise, as you are worried about CPI and Fed rate cuts and all of that. Like sometimes it's just much more useful to tune out the noise and look at what charts and fractal patterns and, you know, these sorts of maps, so to speak, are telling you, right? And then come up with a thesis.
Yeah, so there's a lot of moving parts in trading, right? You probably won't have the eye for it right away when you start trying to consider fractals and other things, but it's probably just like a side effect to staring at the charts so often, right? I'm always in front of the screen. I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now. So now it's starting to become something that you can recognize. It's kind of like learning a language. Now you know how to say certain words and you recognize things easier. So it's just, yeah, it's part of the skill that comes with it. Once you've learned so much, this is something that comes along with it as a bonus, it seems.
Absolutely. Trips tips, says Jack. That's right. Trips special tips here on this channel, only for you guys. We love it. We're loving it. So now we're going to get into the altcoins that we're covering today. We've got THETA and TFUEL. I saw a THETA investor in here earlier. Let's go. They are looking good. Let's see where we're at.
Right, so we're going to start with TFUEL. We had mentioned before that we were looking for a break of a wedge that was falling on this side, and we had a temporary move to the upside, but since then it's kind of pulled back, but we're still holding between the 200 MA and the 50 MA, and this golden cross is getting tighter and tighter. In my opinion, this is going to get ready to pop once we can break and hold above that 200 MA and this resistance zone going across the top. So TFUEL still has time for entry if you want to get in closer to the bottom, but we still do anticipate a move probably to the upper resistance here at around 9.3 cents or so.
There you go. And that's just the interim, guys. So I like music to my ears. There's still time if you want to get in closer to the bottom. I mean, do that. Do think about that. At least start making moves to do that. Don't jump into this thing when it's pumping, or any other altcoin for that matter. Like, now is the time. I can't stress that enough. So you pay attention to these charts if you want to do long-term holds or midterm holds, you know, and you're more of a macro investor, also trader, right? This works on all different levels. So yeah, this is an important one to watch if you're excited about TFUEL fireworks coming.
Right, so the next one we're going to look at, as we usually show them in pairs, this is THETA on the one-day chart. So the same idea happening here that we had talked about where, there's a mirroring idea forming. So this would be like the center of the chart, and if you look to the left, it starts to copy what's happening on the right, or I should say the right starts to copy what happens on the left, but in reverse. So this move down here was the move that leads into the uptrend coming, and in my opinion, that's the same as this move down here pulling back. That's going to lead into the uptrend coming here on the right side of the chart. So we're still looking for this break above the local resistance. If we zoom into the 4-hour chart here, you can also potentially jump in on this retest of this falling wedge trend line here that we just had recently. So if you wanted to get in before the break, you can start scaling in your entries. By scaling in, it just means you buy a little bit now, you wait for the reaction, and then once it breaks above this level, then you can add again if it breaks and gives you a retest. So the retest of this level after the breakout would probably be your better entry that you can scale into for your next positions. As far as the upside targets go, it's still the same thing we had talked about previously. We're looking for the point of control as being the first resistance. That's a major resistance after this local resistance above this price action currently is broken. So that point of control is around $1.38. And then we're looking for levels on the way up at about $1.87. At about $2.50 would be next, and then $3 is at the top of this local range here. So definitely keep an eye on THETA. It looks like it's got room to go. Again, it's really close to the floor still. It'd be a good time to start accumulating and scaling into this setup.
There you go. Really close to the for THETA investors is you see both THETA and TFUEL still in good buy zones, as far as their patterns are showing here. And I can't help but look at these charts now and see the mirrors everywhere as we've been mapping this out with Trip for weeks. I mean, you start to look at the charts in a different way. You start to conceptualize things in a different way. And that's what we want to teach here on this channel, is how to pair all of those different indicators to get a much broader perspective on what's actually happening in the charts. So there's the entries that you got there. Don't let this be another show that goes by if you're looking to, get positioned before doing so. Like, now is the time, guys. It's time to take action. It's time to strategize, time to get into, the coins you want to get into, start scaling in. Now is a good time for a lot of them. And we'll be updating you on more coins tomorrow on the show. I see Trip has the mirrors up now. So this is what I'm talking about. All right. This is what I'm starting to see now. Every time I look at these charts, look at that. Just look at that. It's phenomenal, isn't it? I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, so again, it's not going to give you exact movements, and there's a whole theory behind this, in my opinion, that most of the trading on the exchanges, I think 70 to 80% was what I found when I looked it up on AI. 70 to 80% of the volume on exchanges is all driven by bots. So when you see where patterns should look like they would mirror itself, my assumption is that if the bots traded only without any human interference, you'd likely see these structures reverse, and it would look a lot cleaner. It would look almost identical to the left as it does to the right. But human interference as a trader is what throws them off a little bit and gives you that slight variation from one side to the other. So again, I'm just saying this because you don't want to trade it exactly as the mirror would suggest, but it's definitely a good guide to something that you can pay attention to, saying, well, I've got this idea as my technicals, and then I have this, it's more of a qualitative property. It's something that looks like something. Quantitative measurements on a chart are something you can measure, like fibs and prices and dates. Qualitative is like the shape and the size of something, or the mirrored reflection of a price pattern, for example.
Wow. This is next level, guys. This is next level analysis. This is what's going to help you take your trading to the next level, investing, everything. And I think it's really powerful. So Trip, I want to thank you for sharing that. Bear, I know that you requested RSR, but today we're going to have to cut the show short at 30 minutes because I've got some appointments going on. But tomorrow we are going to come to you at normal time, 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST. So be there. Bring your chart requests. We're going to do more macro analysis, talk about CPI, all the stuff. Okay. So tune in tomorrow at this time. And yeah, Mimi says, Trip, yay, outsmarting those bots. Bear, it's all good. All right. Yeah, guys, we do things differently on this channel. And so if you do like that, I'd appreciate it if you smash the like button and subscribe and share this with everybody. Tomorrow, we want to see a full house and all your requests. And tomorrow, we're going to do a little bit longer analysis. Okay. So just want to thank you again, Trip, for being on the show. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Megan, hey, nice to see you. I hope to see you guys all tomorrow on the show at 9:30 a.m. PST. And that's it for now. Trip, any last thoughts?
No, that's everything. It's just keep an eye on Bitcoin mostly, and you want to see that bearish retest on Bitcoin dominance.
Yep, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the show today, guys. Starting that Monday off with a lot of energy and a lot of fire. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.